Murdoch. I'm coming to get you.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last? I lied. Get off my plane.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
John, I'm not gonna shoot you between the eyes. If you shoot you between the balls.
The disease. And I'm the cure.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. There can be only one.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Yippee-ki-yay. I'm going to kill them all, sir.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gimme Back My Action Movies, the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Charlie. With me, as always, is Nate. Say hello to the people, Nate.
I'm going to say hello to the people, but it's only the people and not you for taking two of my movies this month.
Definitely, I took two of your slots, but that's okay, Nate. I don't need you to say hello to me because there's someone else here that's not Pete that's going to say hello to us.
Yes.
I brought back up the one, the only Owen from the Action Elite. Say hello to everybody, Owen.
All right, Trips, how are you?
There he is. And if you've watched the live streams over on the Action Elite, you know that voice. You've seen me too over there. So we're reunited over here on the show. It's been way too long. I've needed to get Owen on here. So I figured better
about the time.
Right, yeah. So I figured what better time than when I literally take over the podcast with nothing but action movies and we ring it in with the Action Elite and the best movie I could think of because I was torn. I was like, how do I start July? This is my big action month. Do it Schwarzenegger, Stallone, who do I put? And I went, you know what? I'm going to do them all. And we're covering Expendables 2 with quite literally every action hero from the 80s, except Seagal, but we don't care. It'll be fine. He'll live. He can cry about it later.
You guys tell me you can make a movie without me? It's because I'm not expendable.
It's because Seagal is not expendable. But I figure what better way to start this than literally every action hero, every action cliche, montage, nonstop bullets, guns, blood, guts, cussing. Expendables 2, man. There's no other movie I could start with this. So you guys want to just hit the trailer real quick and then we can jump right into this feed
get
first?
into it.
Fantastic. Let's hit this trailer. Okay. So Nate, I owe you and Pete a small apology.
Is there no trailer for Expendables 2 with
there is, but I give y'all shit that most of the time it's in a foreign language or there's no dialogue. There's some dialogue in this, but most of the trailers just explosions and gunshots and a lot of action sounds. But I'm playing it anyway, damn it! So here we go, Expendables 2 trailer.
What do you want from me, Church? I knew the day would come when you were going to pay me back. You can't let the contents of that safe fall into the wrong hands.
Track him, find him, kill him.
You're going to need more men if you expect to get out of here alive.
You're Terminator. In your dreams. Here we go!
Is bigger than this car.
Shoot something! You're not doing what I think you're doing. Yeah, I am.
The Expendables 2.
You're gonna need a new plane.
In theaters August 17th.
So I picked the 1 minute trailer because the 2 minute and 30-second one has almost all the same lines, just a lot more gunfire and explosions in it.
We get the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
we knew what we were getting ourselves into. Yeah.
You've seen the movie. It's just nonstop action. Matter of fact, when I'm watching it the other night, I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, and I messaged Nate going, this is quite possibly the greatest opening to a movie. I feel like I'm watching an R-rated version of a G.I. Joe adventure. Like, it's all of the vehicles they want you to buy. It's all your favorite characters and their accessories, and just nameless bad guys getting blown up, thrown off buildings, just chaos incarnate. And that's how this movie opens.
It's what
And I'm here
most
for it.
movies finale would be, is the opening.
Yes. This is
the best
every
way to put it.
action movie's end. They start this movie with it. And it's I love it. And I remember the first time I watched all these in theater. I literally lost it when Dolph is in this giant like APC thing with this piece of metal beside him, and he pushes it down with his hand, and it's spray painted I beam that says knock knock, and he runs through a building
Oh,
with it.
good stuff there.
I was in. That's my one favorite.
That's cinema right there.
That's it, man. The cut print. Let's go. I can do an entire episode on this opening 10 minutes. That's all I need to talk about, because there's a body count already. There is one-liners galore. They are on a mission. They achieve that mission. Roll credits. They could have done this movie in 10 minutes.
I know we're here to talk about Expendables 2, but I
Yes.
gotta bitch about Expendables 3 real quick, because when you do an opening like this, what makes you think it's a good idea to do a PG-13 for the sequel, for the follow-up to this?
Yeah.
Like, when you watch this opening, in what right mind? Because it gives you that the fourth Rambo movie of like head explosions, the sniper rifle hitting heads and they're flying off, the blood splatter.
Yep.
It gives you everything that you want in that action realm. And for some reason, the follow-up is the one where they decide, let's water all that down.
I can actually join you in this rant here, if I may.
Yes.
I remember Sylvester Stallone before it came out, and he's like, "Yo, this is going to match the Raid," and he was saying it's going to be like the Raid, and we're like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome." And I was like, "Yeah, the Raid was like hard R, yeah." So then we saw it, and it was like PG-13. It's like, yeah, we owe it to this generation. You mean the generation who doesn't care who you are or never watched any of the movies?
Yeah,
No, you owe it to us. We're the generation who grew up watching your movies. Rate it R and give us nudity and exploding heads. It's not a big ask.
What we have, I don't know how many times we've ranted about this on your show, Owen, on this podcast of let's make RoboCop, but it's PG-13. Let's do Expendables 3, but it's PG-13. Let's
do Total Recall, but it's
right,
PG-13.
Oh. PG-13. Like, what are you thinking?
Die Hard 4.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't make money, you go, well, no one wanted to go see it because it was PG-13.
Yeah, you mean a kids movie? Yeah.
We wanted to go see it. We still went and saw it. It took me forever to even finally watch Expendables 3 because I was so disappointed with that idea. I went to
the theater to watch it because even though it said PG-13, I was like, I've seen some pretty rough PG-13 movies. I was like, we'll get into Owen. We'll bust out Owen here in a little bit, but I had seen some pretty rough PG-13 movies. A lot of horror movies were going PG-13 that still had a little bit of an impact. So I was like, cool, let's try it. It failed. I was like, I don't know what the heck am I watching right here?
I've seen it once.
Yeah, I actually watched the uncut version. Didn't like the uncut version.
It still sucks. Yeah, it just feels like everything was added in post. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't like any of the uncut versions of the Expendables they've released. The first one makes it out like they all hate each other. And, when you first watch it, it's a brotherhood. Like you believe that they'll jump in front of a bullet or a tank or anything for their friends. When you watch the uncut with all the extra dialogue, they're like tearing each other apart. And it's like, I don't like this. This is actually depressing me, the way you guys are, reacting to each other. So I won't watch the director's cuts anymore.
And what's interesting is we've got part 4 coming out. September is it?
Yeah, something like that.
And I like the trailer, but also I don't understand why we're going for New Blood again when that's what part 3.
Yeah.
And then there's shots in the trailer where they're driving in an abandoned warehouse setting. It's like, well, that happened in part 3.
They were in an aircraft hangar in part 3.
Yeah, and it's like, I know we are dealing with still the movie being made, but the shot of the boat going sideways and stuff, there's still a lot where it's like, I don't think you guys really learned your lesson. And I'm a little nervous that it took 10 years to
and they may not
realize you didn't learn your lesson. Now, we were just talking about on the Raid how excited we were for Eco being in the movie. Tony Jaa.
Tony
There's still a
Jaa,
lot
I
to be
mean,
excited about. It's just I'm a little skeptical. Whereas suppose when part 2 came out, I was all in.
oh, part two went. So let's get back to part two, which is what we're here to talk about. Was I loved part one. It was everything an action movie fan wanted. Stallone had his finger on the pulse. He nailed it. And then we found out we were getting a sequel. And what do we all know mostly from sequels? Bigger, badder, more blood, more bullets. How do we up the first one? And when they started announcing the people, they had like our returning people, and then they said Van Damme. And then we found out Van Damme was actually going to be a villain in this movie. I was in. From that moment, I was like, yep, okay, they got Van Damme, and he's a bad guy. I can't wait to see this movie. So I've talked a little bit about my history about it. We got Owen here. So, Owen, do you remember the first time you watched Expendables 2?
I do. I saw it in the theater with my dad. Me and my dad went to see all the Expendables in the theater. We've always done that. But Dad would always take me to see violent action movies because that's what a father and son should do.
Absolutely.
I always remember we went to see like Hard Target, Sudden Death, and all these movies growing up on the big screen. That's a great bonding experience. So it's always really good. But yeah, I remember going to see it, and we just had a blast. I mean, it was exactly what we wanted it to be. Like Van Damme, childhood hero. Loved seeing him as a villain because we hadn't seen him as a villain for a while. I think Replicant would have been the last time.
Yeah, and
I don't even know.
He's not that good of a villain in Replicant. I mean, most
he
people.
is. He's a scary bastard, isn't
it?
He sets fire to women.
He did. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Replicant.
I like Replicant.
Right at the beginning of when I hate saying the beginning of the fall, but
yeah, the downfall, the dark times,
the dark times of Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, and thankfully, like
action in general.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger had a heart attack around this time. Stallone kind of like faded out. Just went behind the camera more and producing. So you're right. That's a perfect way to put it. On the dark time of action. When our heroes just kind of blurred into obscurity.
Everyone has sort of moved on, but they hadn't. Sort of the audiences had gone on. It was the start of like the superheroes, but then there was also 9/11, which really kind of put the nail in for a good few years.
A lot, man. I still remember when Swordfish came out right at that time on DVD. They had to put a sticker because they didn't have enough time. They couldn't like re-edit it, which is what they originally wanted. They put a sticker on it down here saying the events in this movie may be disturbing to those due to recent events. And I was like,
oh,
damn.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did do that.
They
specifically
had it was
with Swordfish.
Yeah, it was at Blockbuster. I remember
because they pulled it from the cinema. I remember it was at the cinema at the time, and they pulled it because they just thought it was bad timing. I was like, yeah, it kind of was, but still good.
It was, but how were you supposed to know?
No, exactly. Yeah.
But then finally, people got their heads out of their asses, and Stallone decided that he needed to give all his dudes the proper kind of. I don't want to say send off, but it was like, let's do like one with Expendables. It was like one big comeback, or at least let's all go out with a bang. But what ended up happening was we kind of got this like renaissance of action, because then we started getting movies like Escape Plan, which I adore that movie with Stallone and Schwarzenegger actually working together. That movie's fantastic. And then we would get
like it kind of like he was on like with the first Expendables 3 wins in a row at that point, because it was Rocky Balboa, then the 4th Rambo movie, and then this. And like to be this late in your career and to launch a new franchise, pretty damn impressive. And it allowed to where then what did Bruce Willis go and do? A Good Day to Die Hard, even though we don't talk about that one. Stallone went and did Bullet to the Head. Schwarzenegger went and did
Last
Sabotage,
Stand.
So, and then all those movies flopped, like every single one of them.
But that doesn't mean they were bad movies, though, which we've talked about.
It's just like it kind of proved that, like, once again, the world was not quite ready for these guys. Or also, I do think some of it plays into age, where they're like, I just don't believe it anymore. But I think something like The Last Stand, it utilizes the age perfectly.
Right. And this one kind of blurs that line of, we're maybe too old for this, but we're not going to believe it, so we're just going to keep going. This is the one where, like 3, you can tell Stallone really pulled himself back from a lot of the action, which is why we got the new blood in 3 is because, like, all right, these guys can't keep doing what they're doing, full time. So let's bring in younger people, the MMA fighters, all this other stuff. 2 is still like Jason Statham can still kick ass, and we're going to give him like one awesome fight scene towards the end to really showcase him. You still get, good Randy Couture doing some, fighting moves. Terry Crews just being Terry Crews.
Terry Crews being Terry Crews is great. Randy Couture is still the weakest spot of this franchise.
He is, but I don't think I want anyone else in that role, though, because
I want anyone else in that world.
Randy
Give
Couture.
me Antonio Banderas. Give me Wesley Snipes. Literally anyone but Randy Couture.
They did. That was in Expendables 3. You're welcome.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they should have, fixed that the first go around.
No, I won't talk bad about Randy Couture.
I will.
I like the dynamic he added to the group. He was kind of like their punching bag a little bit. But I don't know. I didn't have an issue with him. I think his biggest thing was he didn't have a shtick. Terry Crews had the shtick because the first movie he had, the gun that will forever be embedded in my mind when he goes down that freaking tunnel, just blasting everyone apart. And then he has to give the gun away in the second one just because Arnold's in the movie a lot longer. It's like, this is my baby. And he's like, you got a side piece, give it to Arnold. And then, he has to give away the shotgun. He doesn't use his razor knife in this one, which I was kind of disappointed about. His lime green straight razor from the first movie.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a missing character to me. I really wanted that one in here. But I don't know. I didn't feel like any of the characters in the second one failed. I've heard some people even complain about Chuck Norris being in this movie. And I'm like, you shut your mouth.
Yeah, nobody complains about Chuck Norris ever.
My only complaint is the Chuck Norris joke told by Chuck Norris because it dates this movie even further.
No, it's so freaking meta. You know whose idea that was?
Chuck Norris.
No, Chuck Norris's
his wife, wasn't it? Yeah.
His wife goes, you should do a Chuck Norris joke, and you say it. And they do the Cobra one, which they never say it, but I believe that is because, it's Stallone. So let's make a Cobra joke in the middle of this too. I love it. I love that he's a lone wolf. He works alone.
Well, I think the movie generally it becomes a parody. I think particularly in the second half, whenever that was always my thing that bothered me about it. Is
exactly. That's what drives me nuts with this movie.
Yeah, and in the second half, particularly Arnie, when he's like, "Oh, yippee ki yay," and whatever. And
when everyone starts trading off everyone's line. Yes, it's just
you're
two on the nose.
Oh, come
on.
That's
all
some
that
of my
drives
favorite.
me nuts.
I like a self-aware movie. I like that they finally just went, yeah, we know what we're doing. And you want Arnold to say, I'll be back. Like everyone, when he's in a movie, that's his catchphrase. He does get to say it. He says the line, but then it gets taken away from him at the end by Bruce Willis. And then he takes Bruce Willis's line. I love all of that.
No, even when Terry Crews says, if I don't get that gun back, you'll be terminated. It's just like, come on. It's all cringe-inducing to me.
I agree.
No.
It's
just, you're not allowed to take
that. Me and Nate versus Charlie.
What is going on? You are my backup, sir.
There are still pros to Expendables 2. It's just a lot of that feels like it was heavy-handed in there.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, and God forgive me for saying this, the script is appalling to this movie generally. I mean, I like some of the lines. Like, I love the one-liners. Like, I now pronounce you man and knife. That's a great action movie line.
Great line.
Yeah, because it's not referencing something else. Like, you don't need to be so on the nose with everything. It's like, yes, we know you're the Terminator. Yeah, do new one-liners, create new iconic one-liners, and it kind of does really. That man and knife is definitely probably my favorite line of the film.
Well, I'm gonna defend something here though, because what has happened is when they did try to do new shit, people bitched that they weren't doing the old stuff. It's like, no, we're here to see Arnold. I want to see Arnold be Arnold. But anytime they would try to do something new, people would complain about it. So it's like, to me, the safe play is give the action fans what they want. If I'm going to put all these people in a movie, I want them saying their effing lines. That's exactly what I wanted.
Not even my biggest complaint with the movie, though. My biggest complaint is you totally underutilized Jean-Claude Van Damme. Because he is introduced
and Scott Adkins
so well, and
I agree
then
with that one.
For the most part, he's kind of sidelined, and then he shows up at the very end.
So
it's just like, why did you underutilize Van Damme so much?
Yeah,
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Owen.
I was about to say, you haven't built up any hatred for him as a character
Exactly,
or whatever
like,
because he's not in it enough. It's like
he killed the one expendable that was a red shirt,
yeah,
and that was
Yeah.
the only expendable that like you actually gave us a full backstory. They really gave us tons of character development within 15 minutes of Liam Hemsworth's character.
for the one character we don't care about.
Yeah, to kill him off. It's like, bring back Mickey Rourke and kill him off.
Yeah, because
Dude,
we had the best. He had the best speech of the franchise as him doing that speech in the first one. I was like, oh my god, he is the best actor of the whole movie. Just acts everybody off the screen.
He had that nailed, and that's it to me. If anything, with this franchise, that we never got closure with that character really does kind of bug me because he nails the first movie, and then all of a sudden in the second one, it's like, where's
not
Mickey
even
Rourke?
mentioned.
Yeah.
And like it's weird. I'm assuming Mickey Rourke burned a bridge because that's what he does.
Yeah,
probably.
Probably. But I mean, the thing was, like, with him as a character, he had that story and he was riddled with guilt because that woman killed herself. There should have been something where he came back later on and he saves a girl's life or something, and then he has that redemption arc for him.
I would have
then
loved
Van Damme kills him. That way you're like, no. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I would have been fine. So this was my thing. I agree with you. I feel like Van Damme was underutilized in this, but I could not find out any info to back it up. But you know, a lot of times when you're dealing with these type of action stars and people that kind of get their heads inflated, how much was Van Damme even really involved, and how much did he allow himself to be involved in this? You know, that's I couldn't find
he had
anything
to
about
enjoy
it.
himself if his idea was to be the twin brother as the villain for part 4, which I kind of am down for.
I totally,
100%.
I would be totally in for that. But that could also be that could be because of how much fun he ended up having on the second one. But that doesn't mean in the process of making this that he was willing to be that involved. You know, this is before kind of Van Damme really perked back up. You know, I think this is before he did JCVD.
No, it was after. Yeah, JCVD was JCVD was 2008, I think.
Okay, so it was like right around that time.
Yeah.
So I just have to question how much, and I will agree with you, Owen, on Scott Adkins, but Scott Adkins was still really unknown to a lot of people. I mean,
I didn't realize he was in the movie because, like, when rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah. My problem with Scott Adkins is he's the default character in a video game before you customize your character. There's just something about Scott Adkins' look that just does not call to me. I guess
been a fan of Scott Adkins.
He's talented.
Man.
There's no doubt about that. Like, but I've always said, like, I have not visited enough of his stuff, and it's like when I do, I'm like, oh shit, that's Scott Adkins. Like, he's white bread to me, and I don't know why.
He has a huge catalog too when you look at it compared to a lot of other action stars. And you know, so a lot of his stuff goes straight to streaming. It's fine, but he still gets jobs. He still shows. He was in John Wick 4. And I feel like he got one of the better characters in that movie too. That he got to have fun, you know, in that one. So
he was the weakest character for me in John Wick 4.
Get off the podcast.
Tracker was for me.
The Tracker was?
Yeah, Tracker was a total waste of a character. Yeah.
Nobody. I didn't like Nobody.
Yeah, I don't like him. Yeah.
Didn't understand
Nobody.
him. He
like
didn't
the dog.
He didn't fit. I don't know why we're talking about John Wick 4, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
you brought up
Action podcast is what we do.
He didn't fit the world of John Wick. Like it never made me believe that he was in this world. He felt like an outsider.
Yeah, he's like watching everything from the sidelines, basically, and occasionally taking part.
His own advantage.
He wanted cash money. He never talked about anything other than the cash money. Doesn't do anything with the coins. He's not involved with like any of the lore.
And in the finale, he does nothing. He just stands and watches, and that's it.
He's just there. It
adds another element to where there's these people that are not part of the Continental that are out there.
Which, and you guys are going to chastise me again in the group chat, but whatever, is I still feel like the real Nobody should be part of the John Wick universe.
Yeah. That was a missed opportunity. I would love to see Bob Odenkirk in it.
I don't know how they could do it.
Yeah.
Just like what you said, that there is these outliers outside of like the Continental and the table.
But I think with Nobody,
there's still stuff
they
happening.
established that he was military? It's been a while since I've seen it.
Ex CIA or something.
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So because he had the tattoo, but that doesn't matter. You have jobs outside of it. You know,
Yeah.
they had anyway, that's God. Go listen to our Nobody episode so we can
Yeah.
listen to that.
Expendables
I
2.
want to talk about Expendables 2. I
One
want
of
to
the
talk
things
about
with
the badass
Expendables 2
opening.
Yeah, good. Keep talking about the badass opening.
They launch a motorcycle and blow up a helicopter. I mean, seriously, this. Tell me something better. Tell me
Now,
something better.
what's interesting is you could tell they actually blow up maybe a miniature
Mhm.
or a helicopter, but then it does the CGI for the wide angle, and it goes back into practical.
Yeah, it's a bit
And that
janky.
movie
Yeah.
does a lot of this, where it's actually like it surprises me because I'm like, it's 2012. They could have just done nothing but CGI. So it's kind of like, hey, kudos to you for still
I was gonna say
doing
I'm
some
not
like
gonna
old school stuff. Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna dog them because that entire opening is just a giant set that they're crashing
now,
through and blowing through walls, and dudes are actually getting launched off of like this, the air cylinders that throw them up in the air. Those aren't like dummies or CGIs. Those are actual like people flying in the air, and I love the stunt work in this movie. Go ahead, Nate.
no, I feel like all that's great. Like, honestly, the opening feels like Stallone directed it. And I remember when this movie was being announced and Stallone was taking the step down from the director's chair. I was like, oh no. But it was Simon West picking it up. I'm like, oh,
Right.
Con Air.
Yeah,
Sweet.
hell yeah.
And he had just gotten off doing that Mechanic remake that I really enjoyed.
I love the Mechanic series with Statham. Those were
And
some great
Sure.
movies.
I definitely feel like this opening part is all Stallone's vision. And I wish that it's one that's like, God, like Simon West is hit and miss, like big time, like when he hits well. When he misses, he definitely misses pretty hard. And I think that's where some of this, where it's in juggle for me, I guess you could say, or where I'm like,
Disconnect.
yeah,
Even though
disconnect,
I don't
yeah.
want to make this easier for you to bash on a movie that I
I'm not trying to
absolutely
bash
love.
on Expendables 2. I really enjoy Expendables 2. I just
I-
got some problems I gotta get off my
I
chest.
don't have any problems, man, because I have no problem with how they get tossed back into this deal. They call back to the first one because they don't really do what Church wants. Bruce Willis's character in the first movie, he does kind of get screwed over, and so now they got to like pay back a debt. And I'm like, cool, I like this story. And then we get the token girl character. We all knew we were going to get her, and yeah, it's Maggie. Is that what her name is?
Not Non-Yu is the actress.
It's
Yeah.
non-you, but her name is Maggie
I think it's Maggie. Yeah.
in the movie, and she's not. To me, she holds her own with these action guys. I mean, they give her some really cool fighting sequences. Her little like torture kit she carries around with her was interesting.
Oh,
although I wish I could have
we could
saw
have
it.
used, we know that she has it, but it's like, God, just let me see it actually be utilized.
Yeah, all you hear is that guy. And, you're like, okay, I don't want to imagine it. I want to see it. Show me. Put it on the screen. This kid, even just the guy's face. Like, I think that would have been a little cool. Like, just see that guy knocked out, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, she's messing with his nuts. That's immediately what you're thinking is going to happen. That would make me talk. I would talk immediately. What do you want to know? I'll tell you what I don't know. Anything, to not get tortured on my nuts. It'd be great. So I like her character. So let's talk about Liam. Do you think he is that throwaway character that's just there to die?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
It's
without
a
a
total
doubt.
waste of a character. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there was no point. I think it would have been better if they'd actually killed off someone who'd been like Mickey Rourke's character, Tool, or something. It was a character who we had some kind of connection with, because whenever he appears, you're like, who's this guy? I don't care about this guy.
Yeah, like he's just the new
new
sniper
kid.
that's joined.
Right.
And they call him Billy the Kid, and like he's supposed to be like this childlike figure for Barney. And
Well, it's youth. I mean, I get what they were going for, and that's why I don't have a problem with it. And he even says it in the movie. He's like, why does someone that's young and basically have their entire life ahead of them die, yet we keep going on? Like, it's like, why aren't we dying? Why is it always got to be the young, And he was wanting to get out to go, start a life with this girl. I don't have a problem with how they set it up.
I like the idea of them getting revenge. That's a great plot.
I love
device
that. That was
an idea of the Expendables, because the first one being, all right, we're going to take out, we're going to do a coup essentially, And
Right.
then the second one, like, all right, well, how do you get a bunch of nameless henchmen? You do a revenge plot against a guy who's been building his army to take over.
Right.
And I like that. I like that idea. I just feel like it would have been more impactful with someone else, and you kept Liam Hemsworth's character alive. Like it could have been Randy Couture, and I've been like, all right, whatever.
No,
we
you're
finally
not
got rid of
killing
him.
Randy Couture. Stop it.
Just do it.
Stop killing Randy Couture in this movie. We're not doing that. I don't know. I like the idea that you guys are tossing around that it being Mickey Rourke. The problem with that would have been he is older. He is an expendable. He accepted this lifestyle.
But you see,
point.
that's the
That's
whole
the
point of
title.
the series. Yeah,
But
that was
They're
always my problem
expendable.
with
That-
all three movies, is that not enough of them actually died. Like,
Yeah.
if they're expendable, you should kill some off. Like, if anything, it shouldn't have been him. It should have been Tom Berenger playing the sniper character, because he's known for the
Perfect.
sniper thing. You have him, and then you kill him off. That would have been awesome.
Or
I
if
would
you're
have
gonna
loved Tom
write off
Berenger to be
Jet
honest.
Li like you did, just kill him off instead. Like
They didn't write him off. He was filming another movie, and they had to.
He was
take
ill
his-
as well.
They went
Yeah.
to China to film his scenes, so he would still be able to be in it. So it's not
At
like
that
they
point-
went no more Jet Li. Jet
just
Li's
kill
like
him off though, because like you
No.
literally throw him in for one scene.
Yeah, it's a
does
waste
do
of
some
time.
awesome time with pots and pans and stuff, but then it's
I-
just
I'm-
like see you later.
Yeah, I've read the original script to Expendables 3. And in the original script, there's a character called 3D, and that was supposed to be Jackie Chan. But he was never interested, and I always think it's such a shame, because I really think that maybe Jet Li's role was supposed to be Jackie Chan initially, but Jackie Chan was just never really 100% down to
for
join it.
some reason I've read something that Stallone and Jackie are like either really good friends or Stallone's like a really big fan of his.
I think
and has
Stallone-
been
yeah,
trying
he's definitely
to
a big
get
fan, because
he's
there's
been
scenes
trying
in
to get
Tango and
Jackie
Cash
in
that
movies.
mirror Police Story. Like
Yeah. So there's something there, but I don't know. I like the send off. I like how Dolph and Jet Li have their final little jabs at each other that they set up from the first movie.
I like Symbol.
I like Symbol. But I love they fist bump each other just as Jet Li jumps out of the airplane with the Chinese guy. To me, it worked. I was like, okay, he's done. He's gone. If anything, I'm more upset of how they brought him back in 3. That I was just like, okay, we don't need this, because he ends up with Schwarzenegger almost towards the end of the movie for no apparent reason. Like he switched sides and he's working for him. Trench, I think is the character's name, but Schwarzenegger. And I was like, yeah, I'd rather him just still be. He need more money. He went and got another job. That's how I always look at Jet Li from the first. I'm smaller. I need more money. I work harder. He's kind of got a point. Nate's smaller. Nate works harder.
yeah, I work hard, work harder. But like Jet Li's character was utilized so well in that first one, and like even
Yeah.
to the point where like Dolph was utilized so well. They decided
Dolph
not
should
to
have
kill him
died
off.
in the first movie.
Yeah, bringing him back, I think, was a bad idea. I was like, no, he was a villain, and then, oh, look, everything's okay at the end, and I was like, no, for God's sake, let some of these characters die. Just like, as much as we like Terry Crews, they should have killed him off in the third one, and that was the initial plan, but he was like,
Yeah.
no, you're not killing me off, because I love these movies.
And now he's not even in the fourth
And now he's not
one
in the fourth one. Yeah,
Right,
no,
because
because
of the whole sexual assault charge that like Stallone's agent did against him. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a whole,
Yeah,
there
where
was
it's
a
just like
ton
this-
of stuff that came out. Yeah,
poor Terry Crews and the stuff that he's had to go
I feel
through.
bad for that dude.
Yeah,
And I
like, a
love
lot
that
of
guy.
this
Yeah,
franchise has got it's like haunted by things like you had a stuntman die on this one. It's just-
one stuntman died and one ended up in ICU. So it was
Oh,
two
yeah, I
guys
forgot
on
about that.
It was the same stunt, and yeah, I mean you never want that to happen, but it can happen on any.
oh
It
yeah,
can happen on any movie, honestly. But yeah, you never want to hear about it on these. And this is the downside with a lot of our action heroes or even our acting heroes. A lot of people got some skeletons in the closet, and it sucks whenever you start finding out, like the whole Terry Crews thing going on with agents, and then now all of a sudden you got to side with certain people. It's never fun to dig into.
oh no, fully on Terry Crews' side with that.
Oh,
whole
I'm on his
ordeal.
side. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, whenever you end up doing these movies, and it sucks that Terry Crews was
Yeah,
either gonna
because
get
like
killed
now
off
like
or
he
now
won't
he's not
come
in
back,
4.
and
Yeah, it's you hate finding out all this stuff. I hate that it happened, but
Yeah.
it's also
Yeah.
it's like, now, you know,
What blew my mind when doing research, I forgot they'd even teased this one being PG-13 because of
Did
Chuck
they?
Norris being in it. Yeah,
that's right.
one of
Chuck
the
did
original
kinda
things was Chuck didn't want any language, I think, in it or blood because, like,
But it's okay to shoot people.
yeah, like it's just one of those things where it's just such a weird hypocritical stance with him.
Well, I what it probably was is it all comes down to negotiating. Is okay, you're going to be in it, but he goes, okay, if you're not going to drop it down to a PG-13, I want to be by myself. You know, he probably could have did it like that. Also, if you notice, he only ever hip shoots. He hip fires. He never aims at anyone. He's just blasting people away. And honestly, none of his kills are overly graphic.
No,
whenever he
no, his are
kills
pretty
people.
standard missing in action type kills.
Dude,
Honestly,
you fire a gun, guy falls down.
yeah, and like
So I think
even
that was some of the
though
concessions with him.
I wish they could have introduced that character a little bit better with this. Like, I like the idea of him being a lone wolf. I like that callback.
But why did they use the music to Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? That's Clint Eastwood's music.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
To me, it's like there could have been any music you put out there, any epic music, but not Clint Eastwood's. I
No.
didn't understand that at all.
I made no sense. Yeah.
Well, it's because they decided not to use the ending theme song to Delta Force 2 when he shows up.
Which is a pure you just don't do that. You know, or just play the Delta Force song. That would have been better.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
I should have had that queued up, man. I totally should have had that music ready.
But like him showing up in the finale and doing that, I'm like, all right, I like this. I like.
I loved him at the finale.
Him there.
Yeah. I like how he's introduced. I like that they're in a firefight and then all of a sudden everyone dies and the tank explodes. And everyone's like, what just happened? And Dolph is hiding in the truck and goes, wasn't me. And of course, it wasn't Dolph. And then Chuck Norris just walks down the street. I was like, yeah, I love all
but
of
the
this
rocket came
idea.
from above.
That's Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's Chuck magic.
Yeah, all right, fair.
Yeah, you don't question the power of Chuck, man. That's all there is to it.
Although I gotta give a shout out. I love Bruce Willis. Also has one of my favorite lines, and it's at the end of the movie. It's like, little extreme. I just love the way he says that because that's pure like John McClane the way he says it. I was like this old school Bruce there. God bless him.
That's right. Like whenever he's holding Valan's head or something.
Yeah, the severed head.
And there are some things that are just a little pushed, like Schwarzenegger going, "Where's the proof?" I'm like, you really need proof? It's like, I got his head. Like, was that established earlier that we needed proof of death?
This was Outlaw Bounty Hunter Board. That's what it was.
That's what it was. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. See, there would have been a good line someone could have said, even though Peter Weller wasn't in this movie. That would have worked.
Yeah, because they were probably trying to convince Stallone, like, no, Stallone, you don't need a robot that's expendable. You do. He does it.
I would have been there for it, dude. You put
I would have, honestly.
You bring in the robot from Rocky 4.
Yeah, I'd have been fine with
and
that one.
Both Rambo guns.
Rocket launchers on it.
It'll look like a mech from Robot Jocks just rolling down the street.
That's a good movie.
What's his face is still in love with the robot from Rocky 4.
Yeah,
Paulie. Yeah,
Paulie.
Yeah.
Now he's in a full blown relationship with it. Yeah,
it's just wrong. That's just so wrong.
I didn't write it. Stallone wrote it.
Well, he also had a hand in Expendables too, so it all works out good. All right, guys, I think now's a great time to just pop a commercial here real quick. Let's.
What? Man on Robot Love is where we have to draw the line.
I gotta recover from that. So, all right, commercial time.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Cobra Rattler, it's the wickedest weapon yet, Rattler's gonna get G.I. Joe.
Introducing the Cobra Rattler.
Super missiles! Rattler's gonna stop Joe! G.I. Joe American. It's the Rattlers!
G.I. Joe's there.
We're outnumbered! Not belong! No, Joe!
Cobra Rattler comes with pilot. Other G.I. Joe and Cobra figures and equipment sold separately from Hasbro.
Oh, hi. Hello. It's Dom, and along with my co-host Amy, we are the hosts of Horror House, True Crime, and The Macabre. If, like us, you have a morbid curiosity with true crime, the paranormal, cults, and more, then our show may just satisfy your curiosities. We release episodes on Fridays and bonus episodes every other Wednesday. You can listen to us wherever you find your podcasts, and you can also find us on Instagram at horrorhouse_pod. So, all that's left to say is, until next time, my friends, stay spooky.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
All right, Nate, no more robots and love and stuff. Okay. No.
What?
Just talk about Expendables 2. What's actually in the
Yep.
movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can we do that? Are you okay?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a robot sex pun with Expendables 2, but I got nothing right now.
Okay, good.
I still got like another hour to go.
Let's keep it that way. All right. So, all right. I can sit here and talk about everything I love about this movie, but why don't you guys go ahead and keep going on what you thought were some of the weaker parts of Expendables 2?
Well, I think Scott Adkins has mentioned this before, that he thought the final fight between him and Statham was too short, and I would agree. I mean, I love the fight and I loved his death scene; that was cool. But I could have gone on just a bit more, because all like one of my favorite fight scenes is like the end of Universal Soldier, because that's like 15 minutes of them just like throwing each other. And I love shit like that.
Good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite end scenes. And that's basically what you want. But you understand that they're older then. I mean, they're like in their 50s or 60s at this point.
Yeah, but they gave, and I hate to say this because it was a really cool fight. Basically, Statham's end fight was when he's dressed up as a priest and fighting like 6 guys.
Yeah.
Like that was the length of what should have been the final fight with Scott Adkins.
If anything, when you think about it, like the scene at the airport, that should have been the opening, because that was sort of it's still a great action scene, but I think the opening scene is better. And if anything, the movie's all arse about face. It should have been that at the beginning.
Very backwards, and I think I get so amped up from the beginning of this movie that I guess I don't give a shit about the rest of the movie. I'm just
much like a sex robot. It shot its entire load in the beginning, and then it still was trying to recoup for the final part.
Why every time you have to bring it to this? God.
I nailed it.
Yeah.
Much like the sex robot.
Stop it. Knock it off. Where's my button? Knock it off. That's just messed up. No, but I think that is you're kind of right.
I like Statham using the old classics, the brass knuckles.
I love the brass knuckle stuff.
Yeah, it's my favorite. One of my favorite scenes.
I like
nothing
the
like
knife
a classic
that Scott Adkins has as well.
Oh, the double
blade
that we always saw in those mail order catalogs that
I was gonna say it's always in the Ninja store that's in the mall, but
we
not
got the
like
magazine.
the popular mall. It's the rundown mall that's just filled with JCPenney's and a bunch of generic stores.
I don't remember the name of the magazine, but my dad used to get one, and it would have ninja weapons. I remember it had a katana that had ninja stars that you twisted out of the handle.
Whoa.
And they would fall. Yeah, it was under like the hand guard, and you would twist it. It was all black. I think it was like $59.99 or some shit. And it was just there was all these like ninja weapons. And it was just like, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't wait till I'm an adult with adult money and I can be a ninja.
I think it was Cody got ninja stars, and we had a boogie board, and then he would throw it at me, the ninja star, while I was holding the boogie board to swing at it. And honestly, I'm kind of amazed that neither one of us have died.
Have you seen that episode of South Park, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're about to be Butters with a ninja star stuck in your eye.
And it makes perfect sense that I'd be the Butters.
Owen's over here going, you stupid Americans. What's wrong with you two?
No, all I'm thinking of is how much we miss in the UK, because growing up, anything to do with ninjas was banned in like the 80s. So like I never got to see any of those ninja movies until like later on, because of these fucking... Oh, I'm sorry, I can't swear. Because of these...
There you go.
I got See, whenever I start getting excited, I start swearing.
It's fine.
But like the BBFC, and they cut everything, and it was like this Puritan state kind of thing, which is hilarious.
Ninjas were live.
The BBC has a fear of ninjas taking over, so
I think
they just had to straight up ban them.
Well, they're closer. There wasn't.
Yeah, they're way closer.
There wasn't an ocean.
These guys are so silent.
It was just a channel. That's what they called it, right? That's all that was separating them from that part of the world. So us Americans, there's 2 oceans to cross to get to us. So we'll talk about anything we want.
So we're allowed to show ninjas fighting stuff.
That's right, man. Every kid wanted to be a ninja. I don't know. That makes me laugh. We always had those catalogs and magazines and stuff with all the weapons, and it's why we love these kind of movies. It's like, oh, I'm going to pull. Statham just pulling knives out of everywhere from inside the cloak, from around his side. Just they're walking around with brass knuckles in their pockets, and they're not clanging around every time they take a step.
Well, the fact that him and Stallone put on brass knuckles to take out the biggest guy in the bar,
I love
that. Is awesome.
I love that because one goes high, the other one goes low, and that dude just drops like a ton of bricks. I love
and have that in the 4th movie. I've seen that in the trailer. You see him with the brass knuckles again, like, oh yes, the classics are back for the 4th one.
I'll be more excited. Just all I need is one little letter to seal the deal for part 4, and that's R. Exactly.
Oh, I think it will be. Yeah, if you're gonna have Iko Uwais and Tony Jaa, it's gonna be. And also, what's good is that Tony Jaa is one of the good guys. I was like, oh, good. I thought he was a villain.
Oh, is he? I thought he was a villain as well.
I saw a screenshot of it, and you see him and Tony Jaa back to back with each other, fighting all the other guys. So I think Tony must be replacing Jet Li. So that's awesome.
That's sweet. Nice.
Yeah, Nate and I were just talking about that because we just did the raid.
Yeah,
we were talking
we
about.
legit thought those two were.
Yeah,
which I don't have a problem with because he was a villain in
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
The only unbelievable thing ever in those movies was the fact that Bryan Singer could hold his own against Tony Jaa in that movie. It's like, no, I'll believe a car can run down a building. I'll believe anything. Not that it's not Bryan Singer. What is his name?
It's
Paul
not Bryan
Walker.
Singer.
You're talking about Paul Walker. I was like, Bryan Singer's the guy that diddles kids.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, I would like to see Tony Jaa beat the shit out of Bryan Singer. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like definitely. I'm all about that.
What's Brian's last name in the
Brian L. Spilmer in the original, but it's Brian.
Spilmer.
Yeah.
Family.
It's just family.
I mean, who cares?
I don't know. Whatever it was, that was the most unbelievable thing that he won a fight against Tony Jaa.
He would last 2 seconds in a fight with Tony and be destroyed.
Tony Jaa would have just looked at him, never even saw the fist that took him out. That's all it would have been. Tony Jaa would have laughed.
I'm getting tired just talking about Tony Jaa because I know he's kicking my ass from a distance.
That's right. Nate, Tony Jaa is right behind you right now.
Except Tony Jaa is actually one of the nicest people I've ever met.
I saw that you've had dinner with him, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, and it was me and Amanda went out with him a few years ago when he was here filming Triple X, Return of Xander Cage. And I messaged him. I was like, I hear Tony's in Toronto. Do you guys want to meet up for a drink or something? And Xander said, actually, yeah. He said, he actually knows who you are, so he wants to know if you want to meet up for dinner. He said, what's your cell number? So I texted the number, and then 2 seconds later, the phone rings. Says Tony Jaa is calling, and I'm like,
he's Owen's running around his room. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Completely forgets the answer. Like, oh god!
Don't go to voicemail.
Yeah, I know. Oh god. So yeah.
I can't let Tony Jaa hear my embarrassing voicemail.
That's what happens when you run the action elite. You actually have to be the action elite. You got to have all these action stars.
Because Charlie is the one that's introduced me to Owen. I did not know about the action elite. Now Owen doesn't know this, but now whenever I'm looking up an action movie, I go to your website just to see if you've reviewed it. Because pretty much if it's above a 3, I know it's worth a time.
Oh yeah.
I find so many movies these days. There's very few that I give above 3.5. Like so many are like 3.5. I'm like, yeah,
that's usually like your zone is 3 to 3.5. I've realized. One of the more recent ones was Polar, the one that's on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I think you gave it 2.5, and I gave it like 3 on Letterboxd.
Because
but it was one of those like
I hate the villain in it. That was the problem.
Yeah, like you're a really good guide for modern action stuff.
Yeah.
So like anytime there's something that like I've missed that isn't part of like I guess the mainstream or whatever, it's just like, oh, you know what? I was meaning to check this out. Like I might as well go see what Owen said of it first.
Well, that's nice to know people look at it.
Yeah, like that way I know it's like, is it worth my time?
It's
or not?
always it's a constant open tab on my phone. One of my tabs is Action Elite. I always have it open, so I try to. If you guys are in our groups, you'll see that I share it over. Anytime he puts up an article, I try to remember. I'm not great at it all the time, but I do try to share Owen's articles over in the group. And
I
try
do
to,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh,
I
I'm
prefer,
not saying that just because you're on here, because
No.
I do only use like 5 websites, and one
Same
of them
here,
does
yeah.
involve a robot, but the other one definitely is an Action Elite.
Son of a bitch.
Can you send me the link later?
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Much like how Charlie has the tab always open, as do I.
I always do as well, even when I'm at work.
Oh.
I didn't see that. What?
Nope,
Might as well
nope,
get paid
nope.
for it.
Oh, God. Wait, we get paid for this? I forget. Oh man.
You guys got fucking ice cream?
That's not the line, but we'll let it slide. It's okay. When do we get ice cream?
Yeah, when the fuck did we get ice cream?
God damn it. You can't edit yourself just a little bit, can you?
Owen started it.
New
It's
people
my
show-
fault.
Yeah.
It's
new
entirely
people
my
show
fault.
up on
All it
the
is
show.
whoever starts it.
Blame the Scottish guy. The Scottish guy will have to swear.
You've
Damn
been on his
Scots
show.
always
Yeah.
ruining everything.
Foul-mouthed Scots with their drinking and cursing and nudity.
I don't even know why. I didn't even need to be here tonight. You two just bash on Expendables 2
No,
and
I
everything
really
else going
enjoy
on in the world. Like, man.
One of the other things I really enjoy about Expendables 2, and I remember even in theater going, why is everyone dressed so nicely before they go and kick ass?
Because they get their my close-up Mr. DeMille moment is what all of them get, you know.
They all have very nice hats and everything.
You know what it missed? This I'm gonna go back to the G.I. Joe thing. They totally should have done like this whole like file car montage.
Oh,
where,
that
you know,
would
they
be
would
awesome.
show even in the credits. I think that would have been cool. Like show a picture of Terry Crews and like a file card pops up and it
Kill
says
count.
like kill count or specialist at this and this with a and put a little bio, but make it go by really fast where you know people are going to get the DVD and pause and try to read like all of the information and just have even the bad guys, you know, Valon, have a file card for him. I don't even know if Scott Adkins actually got a named character in this movie.
Hector.
Was it Hector?
Oh, did he have a name?
Hector, yeah. I think it was, yeah.
But that bad guy, I guess. What's your name? Hector? Okay.
Yeah, it was pick it up and hand it to me nicely.
Pick it up and hand it to me nicely. Yeah, I like Scott Adkins in this. I really do.
Yeah.
This was kind of like when people first really started taking notice to him. Like he was in a Marvel movie. He was in Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
But he gets kind of he's one of the acolytes for Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've seen Doctor Strange, so I have to go back and rewatch
He's not the one that gets. Is he the one that gets stranded in the desert through one of the portals? And
I can't remember.
The other one.
He has the fight with Benedict Cumberbatch, a sort of ethereal fight when they're both out of their bodies in the hospital.
Right.
He's
not the He's not the one that gets isolated.
Like,
he's the one that's left. Yeah. No, I liked him in that one. So, like I said, I've been a fan of Scott Adkins. So seeing him in this, and he actually got screen time, which is
I think that was the first film of his I saw in the theater actually.
Yeah,
it was Expendables 2 maybe. I think so. Yeah.
No, that's good. So, all right, what do we talk about now? You want to talk about Van Damme, even though he's not really in the movie a whole lot, which is what I will concede is kind of a
that's a problem. But the thing is that he just chews the scenery every moment he's in. I mean, I just love that. You know, I like symbol, and I just love all that. I mean, he just and because he has like the glasses on and everything, it just sort of makes him look just crazed.
It is the pet of Satan.
Satan.
I love that line.
I don't understand why we have Satanist terrorists, but I'm like, whatever. I'm down for it.
I'm down. Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, whatever. I'm in.
I don't need an explanation.
But
why
yeah, that's that 80s like love letter that I enjoy so much because that's something that you would totally see happening. You'd be like,
we had
I'm down for that.
We had an axe cult in Cobra, so why can't we have Satanists in Expendables?
Satan's pet cult.
Yeah, is that what the cult was? We worship Satan's pet.
Yeah, we only worship goats.
Which is the goat. Yeah.
I kill you like sheep. You die like sheep. I don't know.
I want my money's worth. Yeah, I still, even though it's too short, I still do love the fight between Stallone and Van Damme at the end. I think it's good. And
I think really
good kills as well.
Like,
I think
Mhm.
they get the perfect amount of who is like one upping. You know, it's not like
Mhm.
Stallone's completely overpowering him, but it's also like Van Damme is not just spin kicking Stallone to death. We get a good amount of what we expect. We get some good martial arts from Van Damme. He does his kicks. He does, you know, he flexes his arms, and then you get Stallone being just pure brute
yeah,
fighting. You
him
know,
tackling him is great.
I
Like,
love that
I
when
do
he takes
love
that
to
hit.
see how fast Van Damme still is,
Mhm.
you know, during
That
this era.
it's a little sped up. You can kind of tell that there's a few moments when Van Damme's
But like,
hitting that the
you could
film
tell it's
sped.
him
Yeah.
still being
Oh, it's
able to
still
like
him.
do those stretches and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and like having the big knife, and then
That thing's
completing it
almost a
all.
sword.
Yeah,
Let's be serious. When does a knife stop being a knife? Because
Well,
that
it's a sword.
when it's a sword, a short sword, okay, fine. But that thing's freaking huge.
and then you get the chain at the end. You know, like
I like the
it's a
chain.
hell of a way to have like the finale, and that's actually the chain from the raid, Charlie. Just
Oh,
so
is
you
that the
know.
chain from the raid?
Yeah, it made
Yeah.
a crossover
Owen
appearance.
hasn't heard our raid episode, but the chain plays a big role. It should have played a big role in that movie. But yeah, at least this one he finally got. He's like the Scott Adkins of action movies. He finally got the role where people noticed him as
Yes.
the chain. I love these callbacks, man.
The
There's so
screen
much.
name is Chains. Yeah.
Exactly. It's chain.
What's up, Chains?
In this one, he added a Z because he kind of really did let Hollywood
Yeah.
get to his brain.
Yeah.
As
Well, you
chains
see,
do.
like ever since watching like Out for Justice, I always wanted a friend called Sticks. It's like, yo, Sticks. I want a friend
Right.
called Sticks.
Yeah, I think you just
Uh-huh.
stumble across one of them. They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
You
they become friends with you or not. Yeah.
You just meet somebody named Sticks. I think that's just how it's
Yeah.
supposed to work.
And then you just become friends, and that's it.
That's
Yeah.
right, man.
And like
You-
one of
you-
the other things that we have to give this movie credit for is the shot of Arnold, Stallone, Bruce Willis all staying one next to one
Mhm.
another,
Yes.
Iconic.
firing
Yeah.
guns. Like, if anything, kudos to you, Stallone, for finally giving all of our childhood, like our action figures when we're playing with them.
Yeah.
That
That's
finally
what I
happened.
paid to see.
Yeah, that was the moment we were all waiting for. Was like you
Yes.
finally given us, because like you teased it in the first one with the church meeting scene, and then he's like, okay, that's cool, but you know, I kind of wish we got to see them, you know, kick some ass, and then you get to see everything. Like Expendables 2 delivers on the promise created by the first movie. Really.
It does. And you get that awesome firing sequence with them, and then right after that is when Chuck Norris walks in to the same frame. So you're literally looking at four of your action heroes that you grew up watching,
and
knowing that they're all trying to kill your other action hero, Van Damme, that's just ran away.
And I enjoy like how we mentioned with Statham, you know, doing the knife play, or in the first one we get to see how fast Stallone is at reloading and shooting, and how they just keep that up with this one.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see, you know, these characters still continuing what they are like. And I agree with Charlie. Now it's like, as you're talking about that cards, it's like, God, that would have been so sweet, because you would have had Barney being like machine expert or something like that. Just 'cause of-
just anything, you know, team lead, some kind of specialist, what he's known for, you know, Statham, he's, you know, the man that knows knives. Just, you could have even had fun with it and put Dolph Lundgren's chemical specialist just, you know, in parentheses off to the side. It's great in jokes. And if people that don't know, Dolph really is a chemical engineer. He is the smartest man in that room probably at all times in that movie. I mean, that's how he actually is. None of that was a lie. And he did quit that job to become a bouncer, but it was for Grace Jones. He became her bodyguard. That's how he got into Hollywood.
Get well soon, Dolph. By the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I hate that, man.
Especially because he was just at a convention here in the States not too long ago.
Yeah.
He just did a He-Man type thing.
He was at SteelCon because I wanted to go because it's Pittsburgh. It's like a 3-hour drive.
Our heroes are getting old, boys.
I hate seeing that.
Yeah.
There's like a obituaries coming up all the time. Even like Treat Williams was bad enough the other day. I was like, oh no, Treat Williams.
That hurt, man. I have been. To me, he's one of the most, like, when you hear people go, oh, that person's underrated. Treat Williams literally is one of the most
Yeah.
underrated actors in Hollywood.
Especially when you look up all of his filmography. It's like,
Yeah.
holy
Right.
shit. Yeah, Treat Williams. Oh, yeah.
He
Holy shit.
went-
He was in that too.
he went heavy television, which is where a lot of people know him from. But man, the movies he was putting out, some of my favorites. I love Deep Rising, Dead Heat.
Dead Heat, yeah.
I mean, this was a guy that should have done. He should have been another, everyman action hero. It just worked with him, and it sucks that he died. And it sucks how he died. Dies in a motorcycle accident. It's just like, damn it, man. I don't like.
Did you hear also? They found the remains, they think, of Julian Sands the other day.
Oh, really? I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
I haven't done anything yet until it's confirmed. I'm not doing anything.
I was going to say they haven't
but...
confirmed, but they have found remains. It was
Yeah.
near the area they've been searching.
Jeez.
And
That's
until
been,
we get
what, 4 months now or something,
Something
like
like that, yeah.
it's getting
Just
close.
crazy.
Yeah, so that sucks. I like Julian Sands too.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah,
I like that guy. Let's see. Where you want to go now, boys? Are we good? You want to just jump into the things, or?
Yeah, there's not much else.
About Final Fight. We talked about.
Yeah, we got Final Fight.
Atkins and Statham. We talked about Nice to Meet You. We talked about. Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
Although I'll give a shout out to Brian Tyler and his awesome score. That's one of the best things about the movies is his movie music.
Oh, that is true.
Soundtrack.
Yeah.
I love the main theme tune.
Yeah, no, the music for this is just straight up action movie. It's like just what I expect. It gets you amped. It's just yes.
Because it's great because like movies don't have great movie scores anymore.
No.
Like when we grew up, and that's something I keep meaning to write. It's like, hey, Hollywood, bring back memorable movie scores because like. I was watching The Flash the other day, and you got Michael Keaton's Batman music. That's iconic music. So what's The Flash's music? Oh,
right.
It doesn't have any music. So
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it turns out Danny Elfman didn't write his music, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's right. Danny Elfman has to write your theme song for it to live in infamy.
Pretty much, yeah. Him or John Williams. Yeah.
Or John Williams. That's right. We can do that one. No, I think the score for this one's fantastic. I mean, overall, I enjoy the hell out of this movie. I mean, I really do. We'll get into our ratings of it, and we can dig in a little bit deeper on our own. But I'm kind of excited to get into our normal things. And Owen, if you don't know, the next segment we do is called The Body Count, where we talk about how many people died in this movie. So,
I'm excited to see how many die in this one.
Just
I do kill counts on the site quite a lot, so that's one of my things.
Do you have an awesome intro to your kill count like I do?
Yeah.
Leave anything for us?
Just bodies. Body count. Body count. Body count. Body count.
That's what
Admittedly.
separates us from everyone else's body count.
That's right.
Totally, all 100% original.
I wrote that.
Well done. You're very talented.
Thank you. We're back into some big digits here, boys. It's 489.
Bravo.
It's the entire population of my little town I grew up in.
And the best part is when you Google it, you know how a lot of times you have to like actually click a link or go into. No, this literally pops up as like info. Expendables 2 has 489 deaths in this movie. It's the first thing on the screen when you Google it. And
I feel like 200
yes.
have to be the beginning. Like,
that's half of the kill count. But they do kill quite a bit of the people when they're doing the plutonium. Like Scott Adkins probably has one of the more coldest moments when he shoots that one guy when they take the last piece of plutonium out of the tunnel. And he's like, okay, you're done. Shoots him. Guy falls down the hole, and then he shoots the thing that's held up by the chain, and that whole thing drops down and traps those people.
I forgot about that.
And they don't show that anyone gets out of there. Because Barney and them crash the plane, which is a hell of a plan. Let's crash the plane into a giant tunnel. I don't know. There's every action sequence in this movie. I pictured 12-year-old me, and I'm going to say it again, all my G.I. Joes, and these are just action moments I played out in the backyard. Here comes the jet, and the wings fell off because I wanted to jam it down this culvert pipe that ran across the driveway. or, you know, I'm going to build this thing out of like rocks and brick, and I'm going to bash my, you know, GI Joe vamp right through the front of it. It's a little cracked now, but it's okay. It lived a tough life. All right, well, that's the kill count. This one's going to be hard, guys. We got to pick our favorite one out of the movie.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, but they were all bad.
So, Owen, new to the show here, you got to pick your what we call the kill of the week. What is your favorite kill in Expendables 2?
Actually, call me an old-fashioned romantic, but I love when Scott Adkins is in the helicopter blades. I like a good helicopter blade death.
Very
Yeah,
Indiana Jones moment.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like that. So
Yeah, so I'm going to go with that one. Yeah,
that's a
I
good
think
one.
It's a quality one to pick.
All right,
Because
Nate?
you want to know why? It's mine too.
Oh,
because
look at
damn it,
you
you get to
guys.
see the head fly off, the blood spray. It's great. It's and I forgot it happened too. So when it happened, I was like, yeah, like, you know, like it's one of those cheering moments, and
yeah.
it sticks out amongst a bunch of deaths. 400 some apparently.
489. Well, mine's a bit more obscure, but it's what I have designated the predator kill. And that is when they have pretty much eliminated everyone except one guy, and they all turn around and unload all of their weapons on one person.
Why did they
and
do it to that one guy though?
this guy's chest turns into like SpaghettiOs. There are so many blood squibs and holes, and all of them empty their weapons, and I call it the predator kill. It is.
There's even a great one-liner after that, isn't there?
I don't remember the one-liner. I was
I'm
too
fairly
excited
certain
that.
Stallone says something like right after.
Oh, it was going.
Rest in pieces. Rest
Yeah.
in pieces. Yeah.
Rest in pieces.
See,
Yeah.
it's
literally
shit like that. I don't need you to call back to old stuff because Rest in
Do
Pieces
a new one.
is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I don't know, but I'm designating it now the predator kill. I loved it. It was fantastic. All right, boys, let's rate this thing. Let's see how many Al Leongs we're going to give this movie. Owen is our guest. You get anywhere between 1 to 10 Al Leongs. We do accept half, so you can do like a 9.5, an 8.5. I don't know if I'll let you go any lower. But yeah, why don't you tell us how many Al Leongs you're going to give Expendables 2?
8 out of 10.
Respectable.
Nice, very respectable.
Respectable.
It was nearly 7.5.
Oh, stop it.
Oh no.
You know what? I'm undermining Nate. Yeah, but I bet if there was a sex robot, it would have got a 9.5.
Oh
This is
yeah,
true.
that's
That's what
actually
I'm saying.
the clause in every movie.
Well, steal from Nate. So, all right,
Short
Nate.
Circuit 3. Just you wait.
Johnny's coming back. Never mind.
Well, that might be one of the places.
Stop it, Nate. How many Al Longs you giving Expendables 2?
Mine is a 7.5,
Get
but
out.
I still really enjoy this movie.
out.
And like, to me, like the first Expendables is probably an 8.5 to 9, and that this one just, I still really enjoy that first one more. This is a perfect example of a sequel that didn't capitalize on what I loved about the first one, but there's still a lot more here to enjoy. Whereas if we were to do Expendables 3 at some point, I feel like it'd probably be a 5 or lower. Like,
Yeah.
I
I far prefer the first film. For me, I think the script was a bit better. I also prefer some of the action scenes. I love the harbor bombing scene, which is my favorite action scene of the franchise.
Yeah,
when,
that was a good one.
That's amazing.
I just I feel like Stallone is the better director. Even down to like Patrick Hughes doing the third one, like he did that indie film Red Hill that got him that job. And I really enjoy Red Hill. And he did Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah.
And I really love that movie.
I love that movie. That's a fun one.
Like, so it's just one of those things. Like, I feel like maybe Simon West is to blame a little bit, which is not cool because I like Simon West.
But I really have a hard time knowing Stallone's history to point at a director, even though Stallone says he didn't direct it, of blaming that director.
Yeah,
Because
Stallone directs everything he stars in.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Even if he says he didn't, I guarantee Stallone had a
There's
final
some
say
way,
on everything.
Yeah.
It's just there still is a lot to enjoy. It's just God, I wish I could have had that Scott Adkins being an evil henchman more, and Van Damme being a truly evil bad guy. It was great to have him there, like especially when you look at the cast. It's amazing this got pulled off in the first place.
All right, well, it's my turn. So I'm sorry, guys. I do love the first one, and my first one would be higher than this one. If the first one is a good, gritty, actual action movie with a cool ass story, and they pull it off, the second one is exactly what I want. I want a sequel that just goes balls to the wall. It gave me almost all of the action heroes, which is why I picked to do this one and not the first one.
I was kind of confused when you mentioned 2. I was like, man, why are we doing that? Not part 1.
Because I wanted Van Damme. You
Fair.
know, I didn't mind to give up Stone Cold, you know, and the others that are in the first
I'll always
one.
be cool with giving up Eric Roberts. So that's
you
fine
can't
by
hate
me.
on Eric Roberts that much, man. He's got
Do
a
not
pretty
speak
good...
ill of Sir Eric Roberts.
Exactly, man. He's got a pretty amazing filmography, dude. If you go back, Eric Roberts
he's in
is awesome.
everything. It's just it still shocks me that he was the main villain in part 1. It just feels odd to me.
Look, you go back and you watch some of his early stuff, and you just be like,
Oh,
okay,
he
I
always
understand
plays the
why he's in
asshole.
Yeah, the Specialist is like one of my favorite characters of his. He's just slimebag douchebag in it.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that the one me and you covered, Owen?
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, totally love that one.
Was that the last one we did?
I think it's the last solo one you and I did. Yeah.
I haven't done one for months.
I know we don't push him too much, but you know you can always go back and check out all our other streams. So Owen's got a ton of content on the Action Elite. But I'm gonna give my number. It's a 9. I'm giving Expendables 2 a 9. I enjoy the hell out of this movie. The beginning grabs me from start. It doesn't let go. I love all the cliches. I love how everyone acts. I wish there was more Van Damme in it. I will admit that. I just love it all. I love all the one-liners,
It hit
the
everything
callbacks.
that you were wanting, and that's what's cool about it.
This was everything I was fully expecting. It was even giving me stuff that I didn't know I wanted out of the first one. You know what I mean? It was just like the first one was good, and it's like the first time you ever get this, so you're in awe. And now the second one's like, all right, boys, let's have some fun with this. And that's what it felt like, man. It was just everyone was having fun, doing their thing. They all almost had equal amounts of screen time. No one's overshadowing anyone in this movie. And I just had a ball with it. And I watched it last night with Anthony again, and I'm shouting and just getting excited and just loving every second of this movie. So
nice.
It is a 9, and that'll tell you kind of where I'm at with the first movie. If I'm giving this one a 9, the first one's almost perfect action movie. So, all right.
It was one of my worst theater experiences ever.
Can't help your theater experience, Nate.
No, but do tell. I love theater experiences because I'll tell you one after.
Go ahead. Mine was, I don't remember if it was Cody was late or Mark was late. Someone is to blame. And I know this will start the argument all over again.
I'm glad that he's going to be on you this time.
We got forced to sit in the very front row for Expendables 1 and could not see anything because of how far up our necks had to like look. So you could like watch the movie, but we really weren't watching the movie. Oh, it was a horrible
I'm sorry.
I mean, it was
I would go back
out. Yeah.
I would have.
I did end up
again.
getting to see it in theaters like the following weekend in a proper seat. But my God, that all that hype, and it was like, this is how we get to witness it, huh?
Oh yeah. That's what I always love telling these like bad theater experiences because I've had so many. That's mostly why I watch movies at home now. But the worst theatrical experience I ever had was for the Meg, the Jason Statham movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Whenever I came home and I wrote the review, I gave the movie like 1 star and dumped all over. So this is the worst movie I've ever seen. Yeah. And then I watched it again whenever it came out on streaming or whatever, and I gave it a better review because it wasn't really the movie I was judging; it was the experience of the night. But the night I was there, it was like the worst audience imaginable. People were talking like the whole way through it. Some guy brought a baby in.
Who brings a baby?
A baby to this movie, and it's like going. all the way through the movie, and then this guy and his fat kid are sitting talking all the way through it, and they're like throwing popcorn, munching really loudly, and I'm just getting more and more annoyed.
It's just making you hate the movie more.
Yeah, I was
Could
just
be home, but
Yeah.
now this is the movie's fault.
Yeah, and I was like, if I had a flamethrower, and that's all I was thinking of throughout, and I was so mad, and there's just stupid little girls behind us talking as well.
I had something similar with the first Purge movie, and I made a comment to the girl I was dating that I wish someone would purge the teenagers behind us. And she got so fucking offended by me saying that. And I was just like, what? And it's like, you just wanted teenagers to die. I'm like, to be fair, they're kind of ruining the experience.
Doesn't everyone?
I mean, we watch horror movies. Isn't that usually who dies?
Yeah.
Horror movies?
And I was like, kudos to myself for that joke. High five, Nate. You know?
Yeah, I'm impressed.
High five self. That's all.
The other, actually, sorry, I know I'm being annoying, but
you're fine.
I'm coming out of retirement to do this. So,
I drug him kicking and screaming on here.
He's like, no, it's loud.
But Infinity War. And I almost feel bad for this one because it's two little kids, but I didn't care. They're sitting behind me and they were talking. And they were talking like quite loudly throughout the film. And I couldn't hear the dialogue. I'm hearing impaired. As you know, I have a hearing aid, so I can't hear stuff saying. So these kids are talking, and I turned around and I went, "Shut up! Shut the fuck up!"
Damn Scots.
Yeah. And then, like, when I told my friend after, they were like, "Did the mother not say anything?" I said, "She knew better than to say anything to me."
Right? Yeah. It's like that guy had an accent and he's mad. I don't want any part.
And I promise you, they were silent the rest of that movie.
Yeah, because you're in Canada, and they're like, we only get like 7 curse words a year, and he just used one of them at children.
Oh no, see, now that is an incorrect stereotype. Canadians swear almost more than the Scots. That's been the biggest surprise for me, is that except the C word, which I say more than I should here, which always offends everybody. But
now, see, that's why we have to censor ourselves on this show, because I would call every movie that. So, oh no, we just lost Charlie.
Is he back? Oh no, he's there.
Can you
hear
us?
We lost you, Charlie. Can you hear us? Hello. And
I could hear him.
Yeah. Well, this is now the Action Elite stream. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm now in charge until he comes back.
Thank you for taking over, Owen. I mean, you were the one that was obviously always in charge of the action movies.
This is correct.
I'm back now, so.
Oh, he's back.
No, he's back.
That's too bad. He came back. Okay, I'll let you have your show back now.
No, it's fine. I stalked his show forever till he invited me on. He was like, Charlie's always in the group chat. Let's just let him on the show finally.
I apologize that it took so long. It was only like a few weeks, really, and then we came on because I wasn't sure how we were going to do it. I'm still not sure how we're going to do it. But,
yeah, if you see us on there, we'll be on there. We usually share it out there, but like I said, we don't. If it stops being fun, we stop doing it.
Yeah, and that was the thing. That's why I stopped doing it for a while. It's just too much is going on in life right now in terms of my job and everything else. I'm doing so many interviews and things like that for the site. So it's been kind of, and I was away on holiday there for 2 weeks as well, and I'm sort of catching up from that. So that's the thing. You get 2 weeks paid vacation, but you're paid by having to come back and catch up with everything by the time you come back.
Yeah,
and that's how you pay for it.
Yeah, you pay for it big time.
Yeah. Email inboxes, like you have 200 unread emails. You're like, huh, what if I just delete all these?
Yeah, 230 emails. And I was like,
that's when you hit the delete all and go, if it happened on my vacation, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Well, my thing is, if it's important, you'll just email me again.
Right. You're like, why didn't you respond? Because I was waiting to see if it really was important.
I was working
important,
on it.
You would follow up.
I need to
somebody else would
do away my work secrets.
That's right. That's totally right. All right. So Nate, you want to do the thing? You want to do your trash review?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, he's excited. So
oh yeah, because I got a good title here.
Okay. Here's your music.
Your trash, kid.
Oh, that's the wrong one. I should leave that for all the shit you've been talking.
What was it? A robot?
No, it was the "You're trash, kid." The one you hate. No, here is your.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage. And then I pick up the trash can and I bash the guy on the head.
Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
All right. This comes from Lauren Thal Tit. I might be mispronouncing that.
His name is Tit?
Tit. This review came September 23rd, 2012, which is actually my birthday. And
okay.
That's one reason why I got picked. This was the other reason. They entitled this The Embarrassings 2.
The Embarrassings 2.
Oh, it's so funny.
I know, right? They're being so clever.
So edgy.
Here's what they said. Bad hair pieces, awful in jokes, no storyline, lots of noise, elderly actors. Throw in $90 million and you have this turkey. The baddies were at a real disadvantage here. None of their guns were designed to hit anyone. The goodies, on the other hand, had these special magic weapons that the only time they need reloading is for camera effect. Stallone was mumbling so incoherently at times, I thought the soundtrack had a problem, but I don't think I missed much of the quote-unquote plot. The shootout at the airport, an everlasting supply of baddies that turned up only to promptly get shot. Was the silly little car product placement? Hope not, as it's so easy to remove the doors. There are obvious health and safety issues here. I got a point there. It was really embarrassing to watch known actors in their 60s and 70s. Norris is 72 in roles designed for people decades younger. Don't waste your money nor your time watching this turkey. They clearly did not know what they signed themselves up to.
No.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's no wonder his name is Tit.
Yeah.
Because he is. He's obviously never seen an action movie before.
Yeah.
Jason Statham is not wearing a hairpiece in this movie. I don't
No.
know what you're talking about.
We've seen him have hair once, and we went, don't do that ever again, dude.
It's so wrong to watch
Yeah.
his early stuff when he has hair. When you watch the one and a couple of the Guy Ritchie movies, you're like, no hair.
Revolver with the
Revolver,
really long hair.
yeah.
No, dude, no. Stop.
Ghosts of Mars, he has hair, and you're just like, no, just shave it, bro. Just shave
It's
it.
okay. It's okay, buddy.
It's cool, man. It's cool on the shaved head side. I need to shave mine, by the fact, man. Let's get scraggly. I don't like hair.
Same.
All right. Well, that was a trash review for a perfect
It was
movie.
definitely a review that was not good.
Yeah, and the person who wrote it is trash. Correct.
That's exactly why we do it. That's the joke. It's awesome.
I hope one day I meet that person.
They're actually one of the people that's always commenting on Action Elite about how stupid you are.
One of
That's
the
what it is.
trolls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you get plenty of them. Oh my god. I mean, there's so many replies I write to people, and like I'd be in jail if I posted some of the stuff that I write out, and I'm
So
like,
you
no,
type it
don't,
out and then you delete it just for your therapy.
Backspace.
Yeah, you have to let it out. I was like, no, can't say that. You know, I'll be sent to the Phantom Zone for 1,000 years for saying that.
Why did Owen get shadow banned from his own group?
Yeah.
Well, you see.
Exactly. Well, if you know him, it totally tracks.
Damn Scots.
Damn Scots.
We have tempers. What can I say?
That's right, man. All right. Well, this is our first episode of the month of action. So we have knocked out
0 horror movies.
Zero. No horror. So
give you
next
the raid
week,
and you
stop
do
it.
this to me.
Right. Yeah. Also,
Hey.
you gave me Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Next Generation. What was the? You guys didn't even like Scanners. You don't deserve the horror side right now. You've poo-pooed on everything. You don't get it now.
This year's been weird.
It has. It really has. So next week we are doing Speed, and as long as he shows up, we have another special guest. We're bringing Troy back.
Yeah.
From Good Beer Bad Movie Night. He will be joining us, and we should have Pete back. Pete was excited to do Speed.
Spoiler warning, I watched Speed right before recording this, and my God, do I love Speed, and I can't wait to talk about Speed.
I love Speed.
I'm just going to give my 2 cents. It's actually my favorite Keanu Reeves movie.
Perfect. I love getting the input now.
I forgot how awesome it was.
Yeah, it's so good.
There's a reason I picked it. I mean,
Yeah.
really. It's
Yeah.
like,
Also,
No, trust me. Like as I was watching, I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about Speed.
It's
one of the best action movie scores of all time. The music is amazing.
It rules.
So good.
Yep.
In fact, I'm gonna make that my ringtone.
You should. You should. Speed's amazing. It was I might as well say it now. It was the first R-rated VHS I ever got from my parents for Christmas.
Nice.
I got
nice.
Speed. And I was
Can't
like,
wait to hear more about this story.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. And then we follow that up with Lethal Weapon 2. Got a special guest lined up for that. And we round out the month with one of Charlie's favorites from childhood, Megaforce. And I have something special up my sleeve for that one too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Owen, why don't you tell the people where they can find you out on the interwebs?
God, what's it called again? Oh yeah, the actionelite.com. So yeah, the actionelite.com is the only site you need for all your action movie needs. I usually post stuff every single day, except maybe on the weekend. Sometimes I take a break at the weekends, but most of the time I post stuff all the time. Just trailers, news, reviews, interviews. I'm doing tons of interviews lately. I got
interviews. Like seriously,
Thank you.
He's getting some great ones.
And tomorrow I'm doing some interviews, which will be posted in the next week or two. I'm interviewing William Kaufman for his new movie, The Channel. And then after I speak to him, I'm doing a dual interview with Clayton Crawford and Max Martini, also for The Channel.
Nice.
So they're coming in the next few weeks. So whenever you posted this, they may have already been
Right.
posted
So
on
if
the
they're
site.
not up, you'll have something to look forward to. But if they are up, just go over, check out the actionelite.com. Like I said, it's always an open tab on my phone. That way I can just click right onto it, see what's going on. I try to share a lot of his stuff over into the group. I miss some things, but that's okay because Charlie's working out of town for the next little bit, and it's really hard to post all the time. So yeah, we got that going on. Let's see, Nate. What else? Do we have anything else happening?
Hell if I know.
You're a great co-host tonight.
This is how I promote stuff.
It's amazing. All right. Well, if you want to hear,
I got some stuff.
Go ahead. Fine. It's
1 sec. I gotta pull up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're right.
It's got to close those robot tabs.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Wrong tab is open.
Wrong tabs open. Wrong tabs open. Let's see. We got Cineslab.
What?
Cineslab. Charlie and I are going to be doing
right.
Night of the Creeps with them.
Yep.
Shout out to Blast Furnace Media for sending me a Blu-ray of their latest movie, Death Metal, which is a horror death metal combination, which is obviously Nate's alley.
How the hell are you getting free DVDs?
I don't get free DVDs. I don't get free anything.
Hey, they sent it to me, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And then huge shout out to Sean Hates, who has been on the show.
Yes.
Cannibal Comedian just won Best Feature at Days of the Dead Indie, and it won another award like last week. It's been getting a lot of positive word of mouth, and I actually got to meet him at Days of the Dead, and it was an amazing experience. Super kind-hearted. I didn't even have to introduce myself. That's how kind that man is. He was just like, "Oh, this is Nate from the podcast." Like, got up, we hugged. Cannibal Comedian has Bill Moseley's seal of approval.
Yep.
So I feel like that's a pretty damn good one. So wanted to, go check out his interview that we did with him on Area 5150, which is a movie that will come out after this one.
That'll be coming out soon. That man is amazing. He almost tags us in every post he does. He was an awesome guest.
I'm telling you, I was so humbled after talking to him because it was just the pure act of kindness. And I even got to run into Casey Jones from when we did our interview with those guys.
I'm going to bust you out real quick in front of everybody. So Nate goes to this thing. It's in Indy. And it turns out there are no less than 5 people that have been on our show that were all in the same building at once with you there. And you didn't do it.
I didn't know Bobby and James were there at all.
Bobby and James were there. Derek was there. Sean was there. Adam was there. All been on the show.
Yep. Yeah, it was impressive.
I'll bust myself out. I was only 2.5 hours away, but I was working. So I couldn't break away and go over there and hang out either. So that's my fault. That's fine. No, all good stuff. And if you want to know who all these people are, you can always go check us out over on our social media stuff. We are at Give Me Back My Action Movies, the Facebook group. Give Me Back My Horror Movies, the Facebook group. Both of us are on Instagram. We are on TikTok and Twitter, and we're on YouTube for now. Please go check out our Tubi files. I really, those are
our hearts are breaking right now, guys.
Really are, man. I mean, you keep it up, it's just going to be another podcast episode, and unless that's what you want, and I'll do it anyway. But yeah, please go check out the YouTube channel. I changed it. Just type in "Give me back my action and horror movies." No more an acronym for it. Just type it. It'll pop up on YouTube. Watch our videos. They're fun. We're having a lot of fun. We love the concept. But yeah. So all right. Is that it? Are we done with Expendables?
Yep, that's it.
Oh,
Thank
and
you,
thanks
Owen.
yep. Thank you, brother. We had a good time.
Thank you for having me. It was nice to be back on again and speak to people again. Speak to people like my friends again.
That's right.
Yes.
We see each other on social media, but it's not the same as
it's always great
staring
to
at
hear
each
your
other through the
voice.
computer screens.
Yeah, I'll set something up in the next few weeks. The next live stream we do will be on I Come in Peace, aka Dark Angel, with Matthias Hughes and Dolph Lundgren. So we'll do that in the next few weeks, just once I get all this stream of interviews out of the way, so I can get peace again.
It's technically a Christmas movie too. It's
yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
He's not wrong.
I'm not. I love that movie. Nate, you got
all right, Charlie. What's the good word?
Who's next? Rambo?